All right, what you got?
There we go. Hey, thank you guys for being here on a Tuesday afternoon. I appreciate it. My name's Kevin Rankin. This is All Access Live. And I want to thank my buddies at 5-Star Guitars for providing me with this incredible Audix microphone. They've been with me from the beginning. And they support the region in both lessons, repair, equipment, best guitars around, and better service. Stop in, say hi to Joff Metz, my old bandmate at 5-Star Guitars, and thank them for being a huge supporter of the music community. And also, make sure that you go to abductedbythe80s.com and check out the virtual concert. You can watch a recording of the virtual concert that was done as a fundraiser for Direct Relief, which was a benefit for a nonprofit dealing with the frontline COVID workers. Bunch of bands, A Flock of Seagulls, Naked Eyes, Wang Chung, Animotion, New Shoes, The Escape Club, Real Life. All of those bands performed in some capacity in their basement or their backyard, and they've got merchandise there. So you can buy event t-shirts that will support the Direct Relief Fund, or you could buy band t-shirts and support the bands that have not been having gigs the last few months. So all that aside, let's talk about this amazing drummer that I first saw in 2002. The first time we gigged together was the Miami Arena, my first arena show. I felt like everything about that gig was a deal changer for me. But from that gig came one of the most amazing relationships with somebody that I value so highly. One of my favorite drummers on the planet and even greater human being, Chris OLIVAS. Thank you for being here, buddy.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Wow. Cool to be here. It's super cool, man. Cheers.
Cheers to you. Yeah, I'm glad that you brought your lemonade. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. That's apple juice.
That's COVID coffee, right?
COVID coffee. Yes.
Yeah.
Sir.
Let's start off by talking about your style. The one thing about Chris is that he's always had a really incredibly unique style. He's on stage and off. He's got well, first of all, he does the best Robert De Niro impersonation that I know, right? So there, oh my God. You knew that was going to have to come up. Can we do part? Let's do part of the interview with that. I love that. That's good.
Wouldn't be much said though. Just laugh.
Yeah. Who needs to say a word when you get that look? That's perfect.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because Amanda always says, I think that may be your dad. Did your mom ever like stray away from your real dad at any point? And they had a one-night stand or something. I'm like, and I went, what?
Have you met De Niro?
Oh man, no, I have not. But that would be kind of super cool.
We have to make that happen. A little side by side with you, and you can just you can say, "Dad."
Oh my God, it's so great to see you.
It's about time. Mom hasn't gotten those child support checks, Dad.
Do you remember Mom? And he'd be like,
yeah. You have to get Amanda on that, man, because you might have another, a little paycheck coming. But
yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh, God, man. So this is a new look, though. Your quarantine look. The hair hasn't changed much, but this is a different thing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it started with the beard, and people have seen pictures of that. And then I left the chops and then went down to this kind of a thing here. I've always wanted to have fun with facial hair, but obviously, well, it's funny because I said that. And the man goes, wait a minute, way back when you had that little mustache thing going on with the go. And I go, oh yeah, I forgot about that because I was clean shaven for so long.
Yeah,
I completely forgot. I guess once the wedding stuff and all that started coming through, kind of had a little more of a clean face, and then changed it up. But yeah, quarantine, man, is just it's like, well, I don't have gigs until next year, maybe.
Right.
If that even happens.
Yeah. Honeymoon's over, babe.
Yeah, man. So it's just kind of like live streaming stuff and whatnot, and I'm like, let's have fun with the facial hair. Take some pictures, have some fun with it. I'm taking some cool pictures, and
I like it.
And now it's down to this. But as much as Amanda hates it, she's like, you would look so much better without it, and always hinting. In fact, she's like, oh, are you gonna get dressed up for the interview? And I'm like, well, she's like, are you gonna shave? And I go, no, I'm not going to shave. But I do have to shave because I am actually DJing a wedding on Saturday.
Are you?
Yeah, it was actually a wedding that got canceled, and they weren't going to do it at all. And they decided to scale it completely way down.
Okay.
Have it at their parents' house. and no dancing or anything like that. It's just basically going to be ceremony dinner with a lot less people spread out and stuff, and able to do the wedding, which was great because I was kind of bummed when they had to cancel it
Yeah,
for them more than anything, because
sure.
a lot of my weddings that I've had have either been postponed or canceled, and it's like that's a special day. You know,
Yeah,
it's like it's one thing to lose a gig, but it's another thing to lose getting married and having family. You know what I mean?
that's
So
really cool.
yeah, hopefully the ones that postpone, it's cool, but the ones that had to completely cancel was just, you know, so.
It's nice of you to be thoughtful about their, their situation. Downtown Julie Brown was talking about that her daughter, they'd been planning forever to have her daughter come to Lake Como, where they're at in Italy, and they took out a grove of trees in front of their house. They completely renovated their entire landscape,
Oh,
so you could have a view of the lake, and then COVID hit, so they just decided
wow.
to get married on a beach in Florida by themselves. So
So is downtown Julie Brown living in Italy now?
she does. Yep.
She does. Oh, how
Yeah.
awesome! Because she popped in yesterday.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
she met with you and Steven, and yeah, when you said Italy, I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. So,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
saw her in the back. Did you see that?
So we've been doing drum lessons. Actually, I gave her first drum lesson a year and a half ago in
That's
Punta Cana. That's a little intimidating, her in her bikini and me with my girth,
yeah,
out there at the beach. But she got this drum
yeah.
kit, and so she wanted to learn a Lenny Kravitz tune, and so I've been having her go through the Lenny Kravitz catalog because it's nice pocket stuff, and
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, Lenny stuff is great. And what was her name? Blackman.
Cindy Blackman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So great, fun to watch her play.
Yeah, she was doing the live stuff, but that's all Lenny playing drums on the records, man. That's
Well, speaking of, I was just watching Jimmy Fallon, and he was just on that, and yeah, he was playing drums, guitar, bass, and everything.
oh, Kravitz did.
Coming to do a solo, but yeah, man, he's nailing it, right?
Yeah, he's the real deal.
Yeah.
I think she's gonna do better in her lessons if I'm there in Italy, kind of like face to face,
You're like, you're gonna have to fly me there.
That's the plan, actually. So we'll see how much the borders open up.
I totally get it. Yeah, because I've been doing drum lessons actually. Before I left for the cruises, I signed up with Guitar Center to do drum lessons, and they're actually why I got contacted was my buddy Jimmy Robbie Dean was like, "Hey man, Guitar Center is looking for guys to do DJ lessons," and I thought about you, so I'm like, "Oh, cool, yeah. DJ lessons, why not? I'm doing that." So walk in there, talk to the guys, and he's like, "Dude, I know you're a great drummer. We need drum lessons. Would you do drum lessons as well?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started to I signed up and got everything going. Then I left the cruises for 2 weeks. Then when I came back, all hell broke loose, right? So we kind of took it off for a little bit and then started doing Zoom drum lessons.
How's that working?
It's kind of cool.
Okay.
It's all right, but the thing is I'm a very hands-on kind of a person and play along with them kind of a person.
Yeah.
There's delays with playing and stuff like that. And, I want to like get into it and play with them or turn the metronome on for them because sometimes they don't know. And there are a lot of the kids on their electronic kits. There's one kid who's like, I think he's 8 years old. This really super cool kid pops up on Zoom. He's got his headband on. He looks like Taylor Hawkins. I swear to you, and he's up there. He's just like,
yeah.
All right, dude. Right? And then we start getting into the lesson. But his dad's kind of like, he's kind of young and he's just really eager to play. And I go, I get it. So it's kind of one of those things where you split up the rudimental stuff,
right?
The fun rock and stuff, right? Don't go you lose their attention. But so it's kind of cool. It's just that every now and then I just want to be like put their hands in the right place, or sometimes I see how their setups are set up, and their setups are just like really
yeah.
Just like I want to fix that, but it's not too bad for some of the students that can kind of get into there, and the little ones that are older. We got the sheets of music. I got my iPad with the Guitar Center books and whatnot, and so we get through the lessons, jam through some stuff, jump them around, and so it's been kind of fun.
That's cool. Have you done virtual lessons at all before?
I've never done virtual lessons. I've been asked on occasion a couple of times, and really never did it just because it was kind of one of those things where I didn't know how it was going to work.
Yeah.
Obviously, during this time, not only myself, but I'm sure a lot of guys have learned a lot about this Zooming thing, this online thing, this streaming thing,
Right.
I started streaming live on Facebook with the DJ stuff, and of course they caught on to that quick and
Yeah.
muted and this stuff. So then I moved over to Twitch, but now Twitch is catching on. So
Really,
so it's kind of hard, but
Twitch is bouncing your music now?
yeah, they're starting to really crack down on all the copyright stuff. I guess just like anybody else, yeah, they're starting to do that as well. So it's been kind of one of those things. So there's been tricks and little things I've seen other guys talk about. Pitch the music down.
Right.
Don't play the whole song. Only play the the verse and the chorus. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that either, because then it's just like people want to hear the song. They want the song. They don't want to just hear parts and parts and parts. It's like as soon as you start to get into it, it changes. Like,
right. Yeah.
what are you doing?
It's like a Lost 80s show.
Yeah, right. 3 songs done.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're starting to crack down. But yeah, I kind of took a break for a little bit, right, because we were traveling out to Arizona. Because we're thinking about relocating here pretty soon. So
really? Wait, hold on a second. You're thinking about going to Arizona? Is that because
We're
there's
thinking about it, yeah.
like a little better access to golf, or?
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what. No, not only that. Well, here in California, it's getting crazy. Prices of stuff is just getting crazy. I mean, we want to buy a house. We got the family, of course, and house out here, 800,000. Not
right.
8.5 around
right.
there. If you want to move to Palmdale, have a meth lab, something like that. Otherwise, but we have a lot of friends. Dallin is out.
Yeah.
Dallin.
Of course, I remember Dallin. He was there in that very first Miami Arena gig.
Dally. So we went out, was visiting with him. He's out there doing well and whatnot. So yeah, it's we're thinking about it now. We're just gonna see what's gonna happen, how things are gonna play out. Obviously, with the COVID thing and all this stuff going on, it's not like a quick thing that's gonna happen. But I think we're looking for something different. With the family and the kids. It's California's been fun. It's been a cool thing, and we can always come and visit. But everybody I know, at least a lot of guys I know, are kind of now. My parents go too, just because. It's just kind of crazy. So,
I've heard a lot of people talk about Vegas, going to Nevada, and but I just think of you when I think of LA. I think of you. Where did you grow up?
Ventura County, Oxnard.
Okay, wow, right around the corner from the DW factory, huh?
Oh, dude, yeah. Speaking about that, I mean, well, first they were in Newbury Park.
Okay.
And I remember guys used to go dig shells out of the trash cans back there, and extra parts. All this.
No way,
guys
really.
Like, check out my new DW kit. They got the shells and they put stuff on them. DW cut on that pretty quick and started cutting the shells in half, of course. But yeah, then they moved into Oxnard, and I remember probably about I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, 12 years ago, when Bosio was all up in that, Terry Bosio, and he moved down this way to be close to there. I went out to Target, go grab some stuff, whatever. I'm walking in Target, and all of a sudden, here comes Bosio walking by me. I'm like, oh, no way, that's super cool. So, I look at him, he looks at me, we did the nod, that we knew who, I knew who he was, kind of thing.
He gave the nod, but you went.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, dude, I know who you are. He kind of goes, okay. I left him alone, didn't want to bug him. But it's funny, it was one of those things where I'd be like, hey, man, I played drums for Berlin, and your ex-wife was like, hey, you remind me a lot of my ex-husband.
I had a similar experience with that, actually. Jennifer Batten brought me to go see Terry play with Ellen Holdsworth and Tony Levin, and she took me backstage to go say hi. I'd never met him, but Sobel was always telling me about their connection, and she said, oh yeah, so Kevin played with your ex-wife, and he goes, I'm sorry. It was just so dead-faced, and I'm like, well,
Yeah. You're like, it's all good.
Yeah. Oh, look, check it out, actually. Can you see, I actually represented.
Oh, yeah.
Wearing Little Missing Persons right there. But Spring Session M, man.
The original Lady Gaga. Yeah, I'm sporting my Susie, my girl.
Okay, yeah. No, that both rock chicks.
Oh, yeah.
So you grew up out in that area and developed the connection. I mean, the one thing that has been a common theme through most of the shows that I've had are these relationships that have been built, right? I remember so vividly the first time that I got to meet you. It was crazy time, and we were all partying after the show and have you, but there was so much energy and vibration. There's this kind of weird connection that a lot of bands in you know this, especially growing up in LA, bands can be cliquish and there are guys that are kind of guarded, right? And so they are unwilling to let you into their circle. You've
Right.
never been one of those guys, man. I mean, you brought me in as a new connection, and that was brand new to that circuit. You know, I've been playing with Animotion just a few months at that point, and every gig that we did together, it was kind of like a family reunion. You know, the
Oh,
more we play together, and we'd go out and hang afterwards, and you know, fun sitting in with other people. But there was a community of guys that had that same kind of spirit. So like, you know, you and me and like Josh Thompson, you know, it's like, you know, it's always great to get together with him and John Poley, you know, like,
oh,
but I think I valued those gigs so much because of the relationship we had off stage, and we're not in the same band. We could have been. It could have been one of those things where drummers get competitive and they don't, you know, they're just like too good to talk to the other guys. But you've always been one that's like wanting to help people get a leg up. You know, you've always made recommendations for me to people that had contacts from, you know, that might be for endorsements or just help, advice, because you've been around this thing for a long time, man. So so let's talk about your longevity. You I know back in high school, you're a drum corps guy, right?
yeah, yeah. And I think that's where a lot of my mentality comes from is doing drum corps. Well, you know, marching band, drum corps stuff. My brother is the one that got me into all that. I remember he was a marching band, and he has a little kid. You know, I used to follow him. I was a shadow, and as soon as I saw drums, I was like, "That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do." And then I would just be around the drum lines constantly and playing. And I remember being at least my son's age, 8 years old or something like that, and within the high school thing, going to the football games. You know, they'd have the kickoff thing. It was tri-toms then. You know, and I think it was like what, a 13, a 14, a 15 or something
Right.
like that.
Huge.
Kickoff. You know, as a kickoff. And I remember the dude Tom was his name. Long hair dude, kind of looked like a Taylor Hawkins looking dude, kind of long hair. He's like, "Hey Chris, go and play the kickoff." And I'm like, "No, really?" Sounds a little 8-year-old, you know, playing the
Yeah.
kickoff and looking over, and I look at the kickoff and I was like, "Oh."
You
But
made it.
yeah, woo, yeah. So, you know, out of that, drum corps came along because my brother started getting into it, and I think that's where a lot of that camaraderie and helping out each other, like you were talking about, came from. Because even though we're competing against each other, it was never a competition against each other.
Right.
We were always brothers doing the same thing, having fun doing what we were doing, and wanted to push each other to be better. You know, we would give each other a hard time. "Oh, dude, your chops, you know, your flam drags on that thing was dragging. You know, did you need to clean it up?" But at the same time, they would go, "Come on, let's go. Practice pad. You know, sit there and just practice, and they would just help you out and get better." And so it was always like that. And it wasn't only like after we would get done with the competition, you know, we would have drum circles of all the drum lines all together. We would trade drums and stuff. Some guys would have like the new tech. Some guys would have the old school drums, you know, and stuff. And of course, you know, the tenors with the Spock drums in the middle. Some guys had Spocks before we did. You know, Blue Devils, of course, was
Of course. Yeah.
the core I wanted to be in, and
Yeah.
almost was in. We could talk about that, but
Okay.
yeah, I mean, huge part of my life, huge part of my drumming, where my drumming came from, because a lot of people do ask where my chops and everything came from. And I said, you know, it's a lot of drum corps stuff, because I'm self-taught drum set wise,
Yeah.
but the chops came from the drum corps stuff and marching band stuff, and you know, being educated with that. I guess kind of like when I give lessons, the kids are always bored.
Yeah.
"I don't want to play drums. I don't want to play. I don't want to." I'm like, "Listen, rudiments are the most important thing, and you're gonna love me once you do it, because you hear the song you want to learn right now. See what he's playing? That's a double stroke roll. You hear that? You know, that's paradiddles. This is that. Oh, really? Yeah. Now let me show you how it's incorporated." And they go, "Oh, ding," you know.
Yeah. Right. It's
Yeah,
got to be relative to what they're wanting to do, right? But
yeah, of course. Yeah.
the thing that people might not know about it, they weren't part of marching band and drumline, is that culture is so immersive, right? There is nothing else in the world outside of drum corps time. When you're doing marching band, it's 12, 14 hours a day out in the sun. If you're where I was at in Montana, out in the snow marching, and it's sort of like boot camp, but you love
Yeah.
it, you know, and because those people become family. I bet you still have friends from those days, 30 years later, right? That,
Unbelievable.
yeah,
Yeah, no. In fact, there's a drum corps coffee shop that's on Facebook, and a lot of the guys are on there. And but even through that, yeah, we became friends and family, and we left each other after a while. Because you know, last year in March was a 90. So reconnected with them just the past couple of years. It's like we never left each other. It's almost like there wasn't a 20-year or whatever, 30-year gap.
Yeah.
Almost. It was like, dude, what's up? You know, like, oh my God, you know, like they'd come to some of the shows, I'd invite them out, or we're just talking about, God, you remember that time? Or I'd go through my things and go, oh my God, these pictures, I got to share them, and go, oh my God, I remember that. And it was just, it really is. It's a family. It's a huge community. And I think like when we were doing the Last 80 stuff and all those shows, it felt the same way to me.
Yeah.
Because we would be getting ready to do our show. I'm warming up, doing my things on my practice pad, and it's just like in the parking lot, jump, 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 jump. You know, and you hear the other core on doing their show,
right.
And you know when they're just getting towards the end because the finale's coming. You know, Flock's getting ready to play. You know, Iran, stuff like that. You know, as they play, okay, it's showtime. We're ready to go. So a lot of those shows we do when we do a lot of the bands together, it was like that. You know, and it felt like that. It was so cool. And then of course, you know, when you smell the diesel. When the bus is getting ready.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing.
In the lot. Yep, you're out in the lot, man.
Totally. You know, you're hanging out with the guys, the buses are going. It's like, all right, we're getting ready to go, hold it up. It was the same thing for Core.
Yeah.
You know, you're eating your snacks, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, whatever you're having before you get on the road and head over to the next destination, you know, whatever school we're going to go to spend the night, get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, practice from 8 to 12, take an hour off, 1 to 5, get right back on the bus, go do the competition, get right back on the bus and do the same thing over, you know. Yeah. So yeah, it was kind of cool.
that commitment that you had in terms of just wanting to perfect your craft too. Did that kind of carry over into bands that you were playing in, just wanting to dial everything into the
yes.
like, all right. So, yeah. So how did, tell me about your progression then? You said you were a self-taught drum set player. So going from drum corps, like right out of college, right? I mean, like what did you start doing musically?
Right out of that, well, okay, so what happened was I marched 88 and 89 at this drum corps called Blue Stars, and that was in Wisconsin, so the Midwest.
Okay.
And I lived with my brother in Wisconsin there for a while, and it was La Crosse, Wisconsin. World's biggest six-pack is there. Also Oktoberfest.
Just La Crosse is great college town.
Oh yeah, so it was, you know, that was really cool. And then I decided to come and march Velvet Nights in '90, which was based out of Anaheim. A drum corps that was very much like the Kingsmen. Kingsmen were one of the huge kind of slapstick kind of fun drum corps. Didn't take themselves seriously, but when it came to playing, they did.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like what my motto for my cover bands, kind of a thing. But anyway, so I marched '90. I did that, and then right when I got done with marching that, my buddy Ben Hammer, who I was in a band with in high school, he was a keyboard player. We had a band called Menagerie, and played drums for that. I got some pictures up to post it, but he calls me up. He's like, Chris, I got an opportunity for you. Our drummer's leaving for this cover band. We're touring the Midwest. We do Holiday Inns. It's 4 1-hour sets a night. Monday through Saturday, we travel to the next one on Sunday.
You're going on tour. Your first tour.
And then of course, the pay, $400 a week.
Oh, yeah.
You know, 91.
Right, I know.
Drum corps getting paid. I was like, I am there.
Yeah, I did. I think I had the same gig.
So I go and I do this, and you know, it required playing a lot to a click track.
Yeah.
All of the stuff was tracked. At that time, I wasn't used to playing the click track.
Sure.
So I get out there. I'm like trying to play the click. I'm all over it, and they're just like going, "Oh no!" It's like almost going to be a train wreck. So I'm like, okay, well, it's either I traveled all the way here for nothing, or I traveled all the way out here to do this. So I went down to a local Guitar Center. I bought a Roland drum machine 303.
Okay.
Put that in the hotel room. I put on my level 42 video. You know, I put it on there. Right. Oh, that was awesome. Put that on there just as for background. Headphones on, click. Just sat there playing the beats of that click track.
Yeah.
And I did that day after day after day. And next thing you know, within a couple of days, man, I was able to just get on that click. And it was just that discipline of drum corps that got me doing that. And it came around. And I started doing the gig. So it was kind of fun. And that was quite an experience too, because playing Holiday Inns, in the snow. Oh man, when I was younger, I had to walk in the snow, set my drum set up, and at that point too, I had something to prove. So of course, I had double bass drum.
Of course, yeah.
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 10, 12, 14, 16, and I had my Alex Van Halen cymbal set up, 18, 18, 18, 18.
Oh, in a Holiday Inn.
All the holiday. You know what? The funny thing is I wasn't the only guy doing that.
Oh yeah, that's part of the circuit, man.
Man, it was a bunch of guys with mullets.
Yeah.
All kind of looked like Dave Weckl.
Right. Yeah.
Had the mullets, wrestling shoes, and there's just all these different cover
weightlifter pants. The weightlifter
yeah,
pants.
Totally. Yeah.
Oh, good.
The big shoulder pads and everything.
Oh,
so it was still around the 80s, so the hair was there, and all the people who were coming to the shows, same exact thing, big hair and stuff. But yeah, so did that, and when that kind of started to go away, I came back, to LA home, and I had the itch to drum, keep drumming. I want to drum. Yeah. So I was looking at the recycler. Recycler's this paper out here. Do you know about the recycler?
Yeah. The trade rag.
Yeah, trade rag. Yeah. So I looked in there, and I'm looking through different ads for drummers wanted, and I found one, and I still have it. I kept it. I'm one of those guys that keeps a lot of stuff. So I have this, and it was in there, and it said, looking for a drummer, it must be fun, talented, play different things. Influences were Fishbone.
Oh, cool.
Sugar Cubes. Oh. Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I forgot what the fourth band was, but it was kind of along those things. And at that point, when I was doing drum corps in 90, Fishbone was all over the place.
Right. Yeah.
Rush, Fishbone, Firehose, not Firehouse. Firehose.
Right. Big difference. Yeah.
Mike Watt and all them. So it was like right up my alley. And I'm like, I got to do this. So right in the valley, went out there. It was this guy's Mark's garage. The garage door's open. I bring my kid over, had the rack and everything. So it's like a rack, And I think I turned an old Slingerland snare drum into a timbali.
Okay.
So the snare drum may have been worth some money. Who knows?
I have the same thing right on the back of my wall here.
Oh, do you?
I have an old Slingerland that I pulled the bottom hoop and the lugs off. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah. No, that's good. Made it into a timbali, so I had that off the side, and yeah, started playing with these guys, and it was funny because the singer, the female singer who put the ad in, her name was Lisa Grant, who now goes by Leela Grant, but she was the girl who sang on Fishbone's Lion Ass Bitch.
Oh wow!
Right.
Nice.
So when she was kind of cool about it, and then she goes, "Yeah, the band Fishbone." I'm like, "Yes, I love Fishbone." She goes, "I sing Lion Ass Bitch." With Walter for a long time, and I was like,
"Yeah, right."
Oh my God, this is amazing. So so that was super cool. And then after that audition kind of a thing, the bass player Chris Monaco pulled me aside. He's like, "Hey man, I got this other project that I do. It's called More, and it's just two bass players and a drummer, all instrumental stuff." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I go over to his house. He lived like right up the street. Go over to his house, and he's playing this stuff for me. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is so cool. Because one guy played the bass line, and the other guy playing the lead over the top of it. And it was all kind of, and all kind of like punk, funk, ska kind of stuff, really musical stuff. And they had a song called Food Always Tastes Better at Somebody Else's House. Oh, nice. And there was Charlie's Angels one where it was kind of like that. Then they did, of course, a dum, doo-doo-dum, doo-doo-dum. Right?
Yeah.
So, a couple of covers. We ended up doing like the Cantina Band.
Yeah.
We did that. We did a couple of other stuff. But so there's all these kind of like really cool projects, and I found all these amazing musicians then. And then as I was doing that, I was working at the Warehouse music store.
Okay.
And one of my friends was like, "Dude, there's this disco cover band. It's playing in Ventura." And I'm like, "Disco?
Wait a minute."
So
I forgot about your connection with these guys. Afros?
Yeah.
Afros.
Well, Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights. Aphrodisiacs. Boogie Nights. Same. Roger Sauce. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So.
God.
Yeah, so I'm like, disco, yeah. So they're like, no, dude, you got to check these guys out. They're called the Boogie Nights. They dress up. 70s clothing, and they're just hams on stage. They play all the songs to a T. It's really great. And I'm like, all right, all right. So I go and I walk into the club, and they're playing, and literally I'm just like, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is super cool, man. These guys got it. The guitar player, this guy, John Butler's just amazing guitar player. These guys are cats. And it's funny because I think Glenn Sobel did a stint, I think maybe in one of the bands. I'm not sure.
And Melvin played bass in that gig for a while too.
Melvin Brannon. Hell yeah. I'll get into that too. So, good story about Melvin Brannon. So anyway, so the guys are up there doing this, and I am just like floored. I'm like, wow, this is super cool. So at that point, you know, I'm chilling. I have a drink or so. I have another drink, and I'm getting into it because when I was a kid, my parents, what all they listened to was 70s funk and disco.
Oh yeah.
So I knew the music, and I loved the music. It's just that at that point, when I was in high school, I was already kind of getting into new wave 80s stuff, and I'm listening to, you know, Beefers and the Bunnymen, Susie, The Cure, Depeche, and all that stuff. So disco was kind of like, But then once I got back to, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I forgot how great this music is, and they're playing it like monsters. So I get up on one of these little pillars, and I'm dancing. I'm up there. I'm just like doing the moves, and I'm doing. They start to take notice, and they're like, "Hey, man, you know, we saw you up there, you know, dancing stuff. You know, not too bad. It's pretty cool. Did you ever dress up and do it?" I'm like,
"You're getting hired as a go-go dancer."
I'm a dancer. Man, what a dancer? There's actually, I think my mom has it, or I have it somewhere, but there's in the paper. We were playing FM station. And at FM station, there's a picture of me. So I'm kind of like this, stuck in that point because I'm doing, and I get caught, and it says "Go dancer, Chris OLIVAS for Boogie Nights." And it's a great.
Oh my God!
So out of that, you know, we're talking, and they're like, "You're a drummer." I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Would you ever want to do like some percussion stuff for that?" I'm like, "I got some timbales, cowbells, tambourines. I'll bring them."
Yeah.
So I get up there, set up off to the side. They start doing the stuff. I start playing along with them. And they look over and they're like, yeah, like this is great. You know, and I was kind of like official fifth member, but I was officially kind of the fifth member. You know, they were getting paid where they were getting paid. They're like, you know, we'll tip you every night. They gave me each $25, $100 to play. I'm like, right on, dude. This is great. You know, get up there, play some stuff, playing music, get a little bit of scratch, you know, hey. So started doing that, you know, going. I bought some congas. Actually, I was going every Tuesday night to Lobby Lee to go see a Joey Heredia, Renato Tito, and Marco Mendoza play.
Wow.
Oh, dude, yeah, this trio was amazing. It was at Lobby Lee, and it was like kind of when they were first getting started. And I forgot how I got turned on to. I think it was Doug of the Boogie Nights, the bass player. He's in Spasmatics now. He's like, you gotta check out these guys. I was one of those musical cats. I started showing him the more stuff I was doing, and I was more of a fusion-y kind of a guy, more on that side rather than just a straight up rock guy.
Yeah. I
was watching Blackbone videos, and I'm being the drum corps guy, the chop stuff. You know, Chad Sexton from 311, another drum corps guy.
Yeah.
All of his rudiments coming out of his playing. And so I go to this thing, and I'm sitting there just going, oh my God, you know, Joey Heredia, hey man, how's it going? Yeah. And he's an amazing player. So I started to get to know these guys. So it was going every Tuesday, and after a while, I'm sitting behind Joey Heredia. Like literally, I was pulling up a chair. He's like, come on, man. So I'd sit there, and I was just watching him play.
Wow.
And when he's playing, you know, he's got this thing where he's just dancing behind the kit, right?
Yeah.
If you watch me every now and then, I start doing that. I kind of picked it up from him.
Yeah.
Because when you're playing, you know, you're dancing. So we're just saying, where it's like, you know, if you don't have a DJ that doesn't dance to his own music, you don't have a good DJ.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have a drummer dancing to his own beats.
Yeah. That's the only place I ever dance. That really, I don't like dancing on the floor, but man, I love Dance Man the Kid. It just feels right to me, you know.
You dance on the dance floor, no?
That was before I quit drinking. Yeah, there was a reason. That,
next time we hang, I'll bring you out sober. I don't care, man. We're gonna dance.
Yeah, I'll do the worm.
There you go. Yeah, do
yeah. The back is not as good anymore, but yeah, I worm around the floor.
That's for all of us.
No, it's all right. So you expanded your stylistic palette.
Oh yeah, totally, man. So I have fun doing that, you know, Tech with Joey and all that good stuff. And then I started doing music with Brian Young.
Oh.
Yeah, guitar player, David
Yeah.
Lee Roth,
Yeah, right.
because, you know, not only that, but out of all the Boogie Nights stuff, when we started to expand, you were starting to put together a bunch of different bands.
Right.
You know, and the 80s band and stuff like that. And I saw Ray Lazier.
Yep.
You know, was in Dr. Funkenstein. And he was playing drums for that. Gosh, Melvin Brandon. Yeah, Melvin, man. The one story about Melvin, which is great, because Melvin's a great cat. I love him to death. And, you know, he was a part of my disco band. I had a band called the Polyester Pimps. And my guys was Joe Lester. Joe Lester plays bass with, he does the Atomic Punks.
Yep.
Great photographer, an amazing person as well. Ryan Young was a guitar player. Our singers were Jeff Scott Soto.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Was one of our singers. Then we went through this guy, Johnny Gioeli.
Oh, God. Hardline.
Remember Johnny's singer?
Yeah.
Sherry, I want you got on. Yeah, so.
Is it my love? Yeah, dude.
Oh, he was great, man. I actually came up with his stage name because he was trying to look for a stage name, and he had this whole Italian thing going on. And I go, dude, man, Antonio Bigapini. And he goes, that's it. Perfect.
Nice.
So, yeah, you know, we had Travis. Travis was the bass player for a while. Froggy. Travis, you know, still Panther.
Yep.
And I played with Russ, of course, and Booty Quake with those guys. Was also Panther, where I came from. And yeah, so we had this roster of all these amazing musicians come through and play that you know, kind of went through that, which is pretty awesome. And Brian Young was a guitar player of mine as well, a band together. And then we started doing music with this girl named Julie Brayo. And we're producing stuff and doing all that stuff. And we did that for a while. And at that time, Julie got done playing keyboards, I guess, for Billy Idol. Oh. And then she was singing backups for Berlin.
Okay.
So when Roger Carter left and they were auditioning drummers, that's when she's like, hey, yeah, do you want to audition for Berlin? And I'm like, Berlin. She goes, you know, they have, you know, I wasn't a huge fan, but I wasn't, you know, new to the music. You know, she told us all. So I'm like, oh yeah, well sure. You know, I'm like, wow, you know, a big band, huge band, right. Whoa. So it's kind of scary. Like, okay, sure, yeah, I'll do it. You know, so I remember getting the call or something like that, and finding out that there's going to be an envelope with a tape left with the songs out in a flower pot planter or something like that I had to go pick up. I still have that as well. So I have the original.
Really?
And the envelope with drummer audition. Yeah.
Drummer audition. So, okay.
I had drummer audition. So I went and picked that up. You know, it was Metro and a couple of other songs. And so I remember going to the audition, and it was right before a Boogie Nights gig, actually, at the Coconut Teaser.
Nice.
And I remember telling Jeff Scott Soto about it, and Jeff's like, dude, you'll get the gig. You'll get the gig. I know you will. You just don't even. Okay. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm nervous as hell. My hands are sweating. I'm sitting in the waiting room, and I'm just like, you know.
In the waiting room? The waiting room for the audition?
It's at Mates. You know Mates?
Oh, yeah, of course. The rehearsal studios and the storage.
Yeah. They had that one room to the big room. That was kind of the waiting room there. Okay. And I think I remember Mark, I don't know, spacing on his last name, but he did monitors first of all. There's a couple of other cats there that saw me afterwards, but I was just so nervous. And I remember walking in, and it was my turn. Kids set up, and I'm just like, oh man, wow, this is like my first audition, you know, official. Yeah. Mitchell Sigmund's there, keyboards. Dallin's guitar player. Terry's there. So I walk in and get behind the drums, and I think the first song was Metro.
Yeah.
And it was all the click tracks, so, you know, okay, cool. And it was a different version of Metro then. It was kind of more of an alternative. Do you remember the first version? It was more guitar driven.
Yep.
So got through that, played that song. I was like, okay, cool. And then I forget which other song, maybe Normal Words or something like that. Got through that one. And then there was this other song. She's like, let me try this one on you. So it was You Don't Know. And not too hard of a song, just a grooving song, a fun song. But he says, right?
Yeah.
For some reason, I could not get those hits. And it
Oh,
wasn't because I didn't know them. I was just so nervous that my
oh,
brain slipped down. It's like, dude, boom, boom.
oh
God,
no. You're just, it's short circuiting.
oh, dude, and at this point, Terry's just giving,
Oh yeah.
just, I'm like thinking to myself, it's just an audition. I should admit. So I finally nailed it. So I get it, I nailed it, and I'm like, whew.
Yeah.
So then I was like, all right, cool. All right, you'll get the call, whatever. So I go. I go and I do my disco gig, and I'm at the disco gig, and I'm just like, wow, trippy, it was fun. And if I don't get it, I don't get it. If I do, hey, it was fun. So I think probably like a week later or something like that, I get a call from the mob agency, Mitch Oakman, and I have that recorded as well.
God.
Yeah, I know. I have it recorded up the machine, and he was just kind of like, hey, Chris, this is Mitch from mob agency. Terry loves your drumming, and she wants you to play drums. So if you're interested, give a call back, And so I gave a call back, and it was kind of history after that, except for the first rehearsal.
Wow.
So first rehearsal comes. And I'm already kind of nervous again because, of course, first rehearsal. And, the last place we rehearsed, there was a drum set there.
Oh no.
Most rehearsal places you go to all have kits.
Oh no.
Right? So I walk in. No drums. And they're like, do you have drums you can bring in? I'm like, no, the last place there was drums. And I see Terry. She gets on her phone.
Oh, God. Oh, buddy.
I'm like, I call my buddy DLX. He plays for Spasmatics now. Call him up. He's up the street. Dude, I blew it, man. I need a drum kit. He's like, dude, no problem. I'll bring it down to you. Brought me a drum kit. Set it up. Went to the rehearsal. Did the rehearsal. Learned all the songs. Everything was cool. But I remember getting home that day, listening to the Masters of Terry. You're a drummer, and you didn't bring a drum set. And it was totally crazy, right?
Oh, man.
It wasn't like I already felt bad then, but then to get it back on, I'm like thinking to myself, wow, what a major screw up. But hey.
Do you still have that voicemail too?
I probably do. Probably. I saved a lot of voicemails.
My suggestion is take that one and just flush that one. Because there's nothing good for the archives in that one. The other ones, it's nice to have certain milestones, but the failures are nice to have to laugh about. But yeah, I mean, we've all had those kinds of things for sure, man. But
yeah. And it was funny because it wasn't even it was just one of those miscommunication kind of fun things. Yeah. But it was kind of funny because it's one of those things where it could all happen to any of us.
Right?
You don't know, you don't ask the question because you're nervous and you're like, oh, thanks, thank you so much. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, and then all of a sudden it's like, maybe I should have asked, hey, is there going to be a kit there? Green cymbals, my basic pedals.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway,
you were green.
Yeah, totally green, dude. Yeah, that was like my first kind of major kind of gig, as opposed to doing the other stuff. But it was fun, man. So
that was your audition. You were starting that story by telling me a funny story about Melvin Brannon.
Oh, Melvin Brannon. Okay, so Melvin Brannon, he's an amazing bass player. Don't get me wrong. I love him.
Yeah.
And I have no racist bone at all, and neither does he. We're complete buds. But I remember one time he was driving in the gig, and he was running late. And I go, dude, we started so much. He's like, oh, man, dude, I had to turn around. I forgot my afro at home. Oh. I had to turn around to go pick it up. And I looked at him. I go, Melvin, you're black. You don't need an afro to do the gig. He just started laughing. He's like,
I need to have Mel on the show, man. We've been bros for a long time, and he has so many stories that I think we would, it'd be a fun hang. But I'll mention that. I'll say, hey, listen, in preparation, you don't have to worry about questions. Don't forget your afro.
Just if you remember, don't play like, oh man,
he's probably actually on here right now. You may be like leaving comments. I haven't been watching the comments other than on the I saw a bunch of people that chimed in right off the bat because Al Judd said that he actually marched with Kingsman 84-85.
Yes, he did.
That it was fun. Did you watch his Back to the Basement?
I watched a little bit of it. Yeah, I wanted to watch. Yeah.
He was playing drum set in the back with When in Rome, and then he jumped on the theremin, which was freaking rad. Yeah, he's trying to get in on that drum gig for When in Rome. Be careful, Al. Yeah.
Who was trying
um, let's see who else. Oh yeah. Oh well, Mark Carlson wants to know drummer influences. I mean, I know stylistically, bands you talked about that you were really into, but early on, did you have some drummers that just totally grabbed you? I mean, you mentioned practicing a lot of Weckel, so you had those jazz fusion approaches.
Phil Gold from Level 42.
Oh,
I was loud for saying his last name right, but anyway, Phil from Level 42 was a big influence on me. Of course, Alex Van Halen, Billy Cobham, Lenny White,
nice.
Weckel was in there. Of course, Neil Peart, yeah, I mean, I'd never ever, guys would always ask, or people would ask me, who's your favorite drummer?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't have a favorite drummer because not every drummer is the same.
Right.
Every drummer plays different or a different style. And I think I take pieces from different drummers to put into a style and take different things that they do. Because I think that's what makes drummers unique and different, right?
Right.
But I mean, growing up to the '70s stuff really did not hurt me at all.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember Terry telling me one of the compliments was, I just love your drumming because you just know how to make a booty move.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's pretty.
It's true.
And another compliment I got was we're playing this outdoor gig somewhere. I think it was like a reggae band that opened up before us. There's a bunch of brothers up there playing, and the drummer comes up to me. He's all, dude, man, you were drumming like you were straight out of Compton. And I was like, man, now that a compliment is one of a compliment, right?
That's legit. Yeah.
And then another time a couple guys said I was very Basio-esque as well. And Basio was kind of an influence too with Missing Persons. I was listening to his drumming.
Oh yeah.
And stuff that was going on, but his drumming was very chops oriented.
Yeah.
Stemming from the drum corps stuff and all that. So of course it's kind of like, doing all the that's Jake Hayden, come on, man, took over when he went into that spot. It was really fun, So yeah.
You talked about the booty move thing. I totally ripped off a Chris OLIVAS kind of vibe on stuff that we did when we were with Animotion. A lot of the newer music that Bill was writing was chats, and I remember like so much of that vibe where it's like on the upbeat and the stick spins on the up, and just I remember feeling like, man, what makes that feel so good is the way Chris is playing that vibe. And so I don't know that I thought about it at first until I started playing it and realized, oh my God, I'm totally vibing off of Chris OLIVAS chops. So that, yeah, I mean, it certainly transcends and it does make people feel good. I think, your progression into DJing too is probably that same kind of thing. Cause you've got, what makes people move, right? So not just push and play on a song, but as a DJ, how to sort of compile these parts that are going to get people up off the ground, have a party,
no, definitely.
Well, the Berlin thing, that was 20 years ago, right? So you had...
It's funny to think about how long I've been doing it. It's half of my life.
Yeah.
47. So for 20 years.
Yeah.
19 and a half, 19. And so, but 20 years, I was doing that. It's kind of crazy fun to think about,
Do you have any kind of standout shows for you that just said, oh man, these were pinnacle shows? Like if we never played another show after that one, that would have been the top.
That's kind of hard to say because I personalized as a musician, I always gave 150 to every show.
Yeah.
No matter what it was. And no matter what problems I was having, whether if it was too hot that the computer was shutting down, or that the video wasn't working right, or that something was malfunctioning, even though I was just trying to really think about playing my drum parts. Every show meant everything to me. And it was just, I never took any of those shows for granted, to be honest with you. Either it was playing in front of 10 people or playing in front of 10,000 people.
Yeah.
it was always a joy to play, and being able to do what I do was just, military. Sorry, it's just a joy. But not only that, but meeting everybody that I've gotten to meet and hang out with, and not only become friends with, but like family with.
Right.
Yeah, it's super cool. Yeah, but yeah, there's a couple of maybe venues that were kind of cool. The Hollywood Bowl was fun.
Yeah.
Playing the bigger rooms, the Wolf Trap. Of course, the man is going to make fun of that Wolf Trap. But some of the bigger places and stuff. But yeah, I don't know.
We touched on something there, man. The experiences, really, you talked about the relationships, and I could see, there's some emotion happening there. So, it's real, right? I mean, this is such a part that people don't get to see if they're not in a band. Yeah, the same kind of emotion that you feel as a musician, it's beyond just being a band member, right? You have a relationship, much like marriage or a sibling. So when that stuff becomes challenging, you feel that much more, right? And so I appreciate you sharing the emotional part of it, because it's a really important part. For me, I will tell you, sometimes I felt like I wore my heart on my sleeve too much in bands that I was in, because I wanted that unity. I wanted the Three Musketeers vibe to last forever, right?
Yeah.
And if there's a misalignment from any member of the band, then it's just like a marriage that maybe has two people going two different directions. And whether that's right or wrong on any person's part, it stings, And
Yeah.
so I will tell you that the family connection that you talked about with band, I felt that with you, and I'm grateful to have had that. And I've gotten to watch your family grow up, man. I mean, you and Amanda have been together how long now?
10 years.
10 years. Okay. And developing a whole family together, right? Where you can kind of refocus priorities, right? And
Oh yeah.
maybe, a focus on one particular band might not be such an important thing in comparison to raising your kids in an environment that you feel good about, and being a dedicated dad. So
Yes.
I'm guessing that a lot of that had to do with the decisions you've made to kind of change and refocus your music, right? And
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, when I first started out as a youngling, I was very selfish, of course, as we all probably would be.
Yeah.
Never not caring about anybody. I always cared about anybody that could help out in any way.
Yeah.
I would definitely do. But of course, at that point, it was like, well, I have to make money so I can buy this, or I can buy that, or I can buy this. Now, my focus is not making money for me; it's making money for my family.
Right.
So, any times recently that I've been complaining about not making money, it's not for me, man. It's for the kids' college fund. It's to put food on the table. It's for us to just move forward and do stuff, And of course, being self-employed is never easy. It's one of those things. I mean, I've been lucky to say I've been self-employed since '90.
Yeah.
And have done that. But yeah, and I never thought I wanted kids, to be honest with you. And there was a point where I didn't want kids. I was like, no, screw that, And when I met Amanda, Paige was there. Paige was 3 years old.
Okay.
And when I met her, things changed. I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then when Amanda found out she was pregnant, it wasn't, oh shit. It was more like, okay, cool. Well, let's do what we got to do. And then once Jacob came along, it was a game changer.
Yeah.
It was this. It's just a whole thing. Now you have two young beings that look up to you, that you care about, that mean everything to you. Pretty much everything now means nothing. That drum set you had means nothing. That car that you always had your eye on was like, I don't care about that car anymore.
Right.
I'll drive my shit banger for a while just because, dude, it's about these kids. It's about launching them, and that's what it came to, the priorities did start to change. And I think towards the latter years of everything and seeing things change with inside stuff, priorities became different. And it was like when I was doing gigs, and you same situation. We fly out the day before, sometimes spend the night, do the gig, you come back. And those day before gigs, it's like you're like, dude, it's a whole day. You're missing your family, you're missing your kids, or you're watching a movie or something. And of course, you're still doing your gig and you're having fun and whatnot. But you start to think differently. Where when I was younger doing those, it's like, heck yeah, dude, Dave, can we go fly the day early, hit the bar, go party, go have some fun,
right?
Then go do the gig and then take off back home.
Right.
So then it started to be like that. So things started to kind of be a little bit different towards there, I think that was kind of part of the reason as well is decisions I have made of coming forth now. But also I ain't getting any younger.
Yeah. Right.
And I think there comes a time when you want to focus on yourself and your family rather than putting all of your emotion and love into something that's not yours.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I'm now looking towards something that I want to be mine, which is my family, which is other things that I'm doing, which is other projects I can do, other things that I can call mine and be mine and be a part of. Just like you said, when you said you were giving your all, when you're into something, you want to give your all into it. You want to be camaraderie. You want to be a family.
Yeah.
Well, things kind of changed for a little bit there, and it wasn't the focus of that anymore. So basically, I'm like, well, you know what? I know where my focus is.
Okay.
So, yeah. I'm trying to put the feed up to see the messages.
This is really sweet that Amanda just said, "Hey, Kevin, that gig in Arizona in 2012 when you were with Animotion was technically mine and Chris's honeymoon." So that's awesome. There's a lot of comments in here from Amanda, which is great. Our friend Juliana is here, so you want to give a shout out to Juliana?
Hey, what's up?
Oh man, I love that. I think that's great. She's here. And it's funny. Al Judd wants you to put that nasty email on a drum beat, and you can just sample that in one of your gigs. But the chew out, the chew out gig that when you showed up at rehearsal with no drum kit, but somebody was talking about Escape Club. We're talking about using samples on one of their gigs back. It was with NXS, I think they said, and somebody in the crew got a hold of their gear, and the only sample that they were dependent on was the shot at the beginning of Wild Wild West. And they somebody from the crew changed the sample to be fart noises. So, and they all have to go out and they do like they mime the, and they did it and it went. And so,
oh no!
I told them, I said, I've got a new idea for the next time When in Rome plays at Lost 80s Live gig, the Octopads.
Oh my God. There's a couple of times I think we wanted to do that to Rob when he was up there doing his stuff.
Yeah.
I remember Schultz always talking about that he did have some of those, things going out. Right?
We'll see.
And I think there was a couple of times with some Berlin stuff I could have switched out some samples in there, and I'm sure now you with Flock, right?
Yeah.
Change up those snare drum hits to some other stuff.
Yeah. The wishing gank, the gank. Yeah, I could change that to
dude, that reed snare drum,
I could change it to a duck.
So what is that? I'm trying to get my group chat working. Why isn't it working?
You have to do it on a different device, it looks like. A lot of times it's hard to get the Facebook feed. But Amanda says it's actually me. It's me. She's the one that's a Carrie fan. But Chris did beat Danny out for the Berlin gig.
Oh my gosh! You know what's funny? You know who else auditioned for that? Nate.
Did he really?
Yeah.
He didn't mention that.
Yeah, Nate auditioned for that, and I guess Danny. I remember Terry saying, "Oh yeah, Danny Carey auditioned." I'm like, no way.
Wow.
That's Danny Carey, dude. I mean,
right.
Amazing drummer. There's no way he auditioned for this gig. So we are at Gary Newman. Watching that show, an amazing show. I go to grab us a couple brews. I go to the bar, and who's there? Danny Carey.
Oh yeah.
He's 3 sheets to the wind, I think, by then. He's had a couple he's having a good time talking to some girl. He's just yapping. I'm like, so, and I'm like, why don't you talk? Just at least say hi, because I'm not one of those guys like, oh my God, guys, I'm very humble, just very,
Yeah.
I'm nobody, whatever. I just want to say hi. So I'm kind of just, I kind of try to sneak in and so I kind of snuck in. I'm like, hey, Daniel, what's up, man? My name is Chris. Nice to meet you. He's like, yeah, whatever. Starts trying to scroll, and I go, and I'm like, okay, I might have to pull the Berlin card. So I go, hey man, yeah, I played drums for Berlin because I knew Amanda was a fan, and my whole point was to try and get her to meet him. So that was my point of pulling the card out. So I'm like, yeah, I played drums for Berlin. Stopped dead in this conversation. Looks over at me and goes, you're the fucking guy. You're the guy that beat me out of my fucking job.
Wow.
That was supposed to be my gig, man.
Oh.
Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like literally going, okay. And I go, anyway, very nice to meet you, dude. I'll see you. So I walk back and I see, we're watching the show. And I told Amanda, I go, yeah, Danny Kirsten. She's like, no way. I got to meet him. I'm like, I do. She goes, oh, and I go, all right, come on. So I go back out there. He looks over at me, gives me this dirty look. And I go, no, dude, listen. This is my wife, Amanda. You're her favorite drummer, even over me. He goes, hey, all right, nice to meet you. I'm like,
yeah,
that was funny.
Throw yourself on the sword for the bride. That's good. Happy wife, happy life. That's
yeah, right. That's right.
God, man. So now, I was going to say during that time, like the end of a lot of those gigs, you were still filling in dates with like Mini Driver, and you had cover gigs happening, even though whenever Berlin wasn't playing. Were you DJing a lot at that point too, or was that something that's
no, I was. I started picking up a lot of steam. I think about 3 years ago, because I started DJing. I want to say when I was in junior high school.
Okay.
I had a double cassette recorder, and I had a record. I had 245s of Shaka Khan. I put that on, and I was, mixing from cassette tape to vinyl cassette tape. I had a realistic mixer.
Wow.
Okay. Realistic mixer. Yeah. I wish I still had. I didn't claim to be a DJ. I just love to play music.
Yeah.
And I think you know this of me, because we finished off a gig. What would we do? We'd go back to the hotel, and what was I doing? Dude, you gotta listen to this. Oh, you gotta check this out.
Yeah.
Now it was the same thing back home after cover band gigs. I'm bringing people over, and I'm the same. Just love playing music, and that's my thing. It's a huge part of me. It will always be a huge part of me, and I love things, So so I kind of came into that, and then was always kind of doing stuff. And then I had, I believe it was what was it? What year was it? I want to say 2000s-ish, 98, 99, me and my buddy Paul, DJ Sandwich, we wanted to bring a bit of Los Angeles to Ventura.
Okay.
So we were very into drum and bass, electronic music, and Aphex Twin, Square Pusher and all that. Aphex Twin. We went to Nocturnal Wonderland 1 year, and he brought out these dancing bears. They were in these huge, red, yellow, and it had, Richard face on it. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to have my mom make us some of those. And I'm going to dress up and find somebody else to do it.
God.
And as you're playing this stuff, I'm going to walk around and I'm going to hand out lollipops and mask with Vicks Vapor Rub to people. Right? Like, dude. And I go, listen. Let's bring out, if we're going to bring LA to Ventura, which Ventura was, nothing compared to LA at that time, right. We're going to do it. And so we did it. And so I would dress up in this, and I think we still have one. I think Paul may still have the other. We had a red one and a yellow one and a green one. And my mom made these things for me. And that's what we did. We're playing drum and bass, electronic music, eating, just everything. And we'd switch off. So I'd go and I'd be DJing, doing that stuff. And at that point, I was more into DJing. I was more beat matching and all this stuff because I wasn't going to, and I fell into it more as opposed to when I was younger. So I had all the vinyl. I still have all my vinyl and stuff like that too. But beat matching was one of those things where being a drummer, well, what do?
Right.
We're playing a club. So beat matching was one of those things. And my buddy Paul was like, dude, you got to show me, that. So I started to teach him beat matching and getting the tempos. And then we didn't have computers. Right. It was all vinyl with a mixer. and you had to play by ear. You didn't. There was no loop features. There was no trigger off kind of stuff. Not like we have now. And I don't want to call it cheating because you still have to know what you got to do.
Sure.
And I will not ever touch the sync buttons on a controller because I love being free form. But yeah, so I started showing a beat match, and I remember to this day, he's just like, dude, thank you so much. You're a big part of why I DJ and what you showed me and stuff. So yeah, so then I started doing that. We'd have a blast doing that kind of stuff, you know, and we did it for quite a while. And then when that kind of ended, I did Sin Sundays, where I did an industrial goth night, and it was doing, you know, playing a lot of Power Man 5000 and Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson, Nine Inch Nails, but also mixed in with the drum and bass kind of stuff like that. So it's kind of very mixed in. And I did that for many of years on Sundays, both in Ventura County and stuff around there. And I still do every Thursday. Well, I used to before the pandemic, but you know, I have my club nights. But yeah, it was really fun, you know, and so that was just kind of one of those things that I've always was doing alongside. Love doing it because, like you said, I love making people dance.
Yeah.
And there is a thing too when you can see people dwindling off. Oh, it's time to change a song. And you know, you have to know how to read a crowd and do that kind of a thing. And you know, and of course, deal with the dare I say Karens who come up and want to hear their song right now.
Can you play another Flock of Seagulls song?
And they're like, play this song, play this one.
Right.
I have that one. Well, I have it on my phone. Can you play it off my phone?
Oh
No.
My God. That happens to you every gig, doesn't it?
Oh, smaller club gigs, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Oh man, sometimes it's a little annoying, and sometimes I'll say, yeah, I have it. I'll play it. Don't worry, I have it. It's gonna come up every other, you know, a couple of other requests.
Yeah,
If it's a good song, if it's one of those songs. It's just like, you know, then it's like, okay,
never gonna give you up. And, you know,
yeah, I'll play that one.
I know. You know, the gigs that I would imagine the DJ gigs that are just a big payoff for you in terms of just getting the crowd dialed as beachside, poolside, doing Dominican Republic, doing 80s in the Sand, right? I mean, that gig is crazy.
Those are so much fun, and thank you to Stephen Wayne and Steve Robinson for that, and then also on the ECP side of the cruises and stuff. Yeah, it's been very fun because I was able to spread my wings on that side of my aspect, you know, because I've always been a drummer forever, and I love playing drums, and it's weird because sometimes I feel like I'm cheating on drumming by DJ. It's
Really?
kind of weird, you know. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's funny because a mutual friend of ours, Jimmy Dean.
Hold on, let me raise a glass to Jimmy Dean. Jimmy Dean, we love you. Dude,
Yes,
no,
brother.
yeah.
So I was telling him that, and he goes, dude, don't ever think like that. He's like, you are being successful at doing something else, and you're still being successful, and you're not cheating on anything. You're just finding success in another area that you can do along with that.
Right.
I was kind of like, wow, okay, that's
Good,
the way to look at it.
Good perspective for sure,
And
man.
so, yeah, you know what I mean? Obviously, I've been playing drums since I was 6, 7, somewhere around there, and that's all I knew and that's all I know. But I have this other aspect to me. So it's not like I'm leaving it. It's just more like I'm bringing it together in a way. So, yeah, no, it's fun when you get to, you know, get up and, you know, poolside or whatever, and alongside other, you know, and that's the other thing too is now I'm learning this other things of like not only other drummers and other bands, but other DJs I'm working with.
Sure.
You know, Stephen and Crystal and gosh, I'm spacing on his name right now just because I barely met him this past year and I don't know why I said his name, but you know, other DJs I've met on the cruises and stuff, and it's so much fun. It's just it's a different aspect, a different avenue of entertaining. Yeah.
You know, I had Steve on yesterday, right? We were talking about the 80s in the Sand thing and the move over to Mexico. Do you have, because your connections, your network of people is just so vast, everything from cruises to club gigs and everything in between. You have any thoughts or tips or recommendations to people that may be on the fence about coming down to see you DJ in Mexico in October?
What is there to say? Why?
I
mean, come on down.
There's a reason they call it.
As opposed,
Well, I think some people might be guarded or unsure, right? Going to Mexico to go and party for a week with all these crazy 80s bands. But, I mean, Steve does such a good
Are
job
you
of,
talking about? Are you talking about thing in general, or as you're talking about as the pandemic thing happened?
in general. I mean, it could be Mexico in general with stuff that they've had in the past. The pandemic goes,
Because yeah, but if it comes down to just coming down to having a good time of partying, dude, there's nothing like it.
there is
It's a
nothing like it.
blast.
Yeah.
And not only that, but not only have I made friends and family of all these other bands, but I have made a lot of friends and family with the Cruisers and the Sanders,
Yeah.
people who come out. They go to both. But I have made so many friends and family out of that I love deeply and respect, and I love to see their faces every time we go. And if they're not going to be there, it's like, it's one of those things. But yeah, no, it's a place to let yourself be who you want to be, to party, to hang out, to experience a time like no other. It's like going back into high school and hanging with all your friends again. It's like a high school reunion. It's one of those things where you go and you see people and you're like, oh my gosh, and you're hanging out by the pool and you're having some drinks or whatever, and you're just chilling out, and it's an escape from the world, and it's an escape from your day job, and it's an escape from the everyday of what you know, of playing the same old club, of doing the same old places, and getting to experience other places, but also get to do it with people you know, but also new people that you get to meet and become friends, and then stay in touch with via social media, whether if it's Instagram or Facebook or anything. And we all stay together. You guys did touch upon that yesterday about the groups and stuff, and we all have a blast.
It's amazing.
We'll probably message here and there and share funny memes or funny things like that. And it's like you never leave each other, except you just don't get to see each other face to face because they live all the way across the United States and you're over on this side.
It's like how many people came from around the world last time I was there. It really, but I think the connection I think that you make, it's funny when I announced that we were going to be talking today, so many people from those Sanders groups got excited, right? Because they knew that they knew Chris from the DJ side of things. And it's funny because my connection with you from ever has been, you're the drumming side of things. So I love getting to see both sides. You've certainly made as much a name for yourself in the DJ realm as you have drumming. And and it's beyond the guy that sits up there behind the oh, look at, there it is, DJ Christopher J. Look, as you should. Yes, good promo.
Yeah. You know me, I got everything out, and these are all things I throw out too. I don't think I've ever sold any merch yet. I've made a lot of stuff, and I just throw the stuff out to people, buttons and stuff, because it's something they get to take home and remember, not just me, but the time they had. So
that's man, you have so many hats, and not literal hats, but I think it sounds like the next times that people are really going to get to see you, besides maybe small intimate weddings, if you have up and coming drummers and you wanted to set lessons up, should they do that through Guitar Center or should they track you down directly?
Well, Guitar Center.
All right.
Are they watching? No, I mean, privately, I can totally do. Like I said, I kind of stumbled upon the Guitar Center thing with drum lessons only because I was going to do DJ lessons, and right now it's kind of hard for everything because it's one of those things. So the only way we can really do lessons is through online, obviously because of the pandemic and hanging close quarters. In fact, I don't even know when we're going to open up the store again to be face to face with students. So yeah, but for sure, if anybody's interested in learning drumming from me, I mean, drum.
How about sessions? Are you able to do?
If there's something I can teach, they want to know. Hey, I'm down to, if they have a question for me. I just do what I do. You know what I mean? And I have fun doing it, and I'm passionate about it. And I think that's one thing I tell my students: don't do this because you feel like you have to, or you're trying to be a rock star, or you're trying to impress a chick, or you're trying to whatever it is. If you're going to be playing an instrument, whether if it's drums, keyboard, guitar, or anything, you got to do it for passion.
Yeah.
You got to do it because you feel good about doing it, not just because you're trying to do it for this. Definitely, if you're trying to make money.
Yeah, I do know what you mean, man. My son, if he's watching,
No, you can definitely make a living right now, and you can. And, you know, and that's part of it as well. It's the hustle, right?
Yeah.
We got to have the hustle, especially now, being musicians, and DJs and photographers and artists and graphic people. All you got to have the hustle. You got to have that groove. You got to have that within inside of you, that passion to do it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to. You can't stand up. And there is days when I feel like, why am I doing this anymore?
Right.
Should I still be doing this? There's 20 other kids that are 20 that are better than me. They can do this. But it's not about that. It's really about, I think, the love and the passion that you have for it that keeps us doing it. And sometimes those kids don't get that.
Yeah.
You know, they think it's for a whole nother reason. But I think it's the guys like us that have been doing this. I'm sure you've been doing it just as long as I have. Like I said, I mean, I haven't been self-employed since 90.
Yeah.
It's something within inside of us that we love what we do.
Yeah,
and
that shows.
Yeah, we wouldn't keep doing it if it didn't mean something to us, you know. And that's something.
I can't wait to see you back behind a kit. I mean, it's great to get to hang with you when you're DJing, but for me, selfishly, man, I just you know, I sit back and watch you play all night. It's the best time ever. You know?
Why, you know, that's where it's funny because you know, this last time with the cruises, the thing is with the cruises is when I did the first cruise, Berlin. Did that, and I was asking about DJ. I'm like, yeah, you DJ, whatever. We've heard that from a million people. Oh, sure. And I'm like, no, seriously, no, I know, no. So they gave me a shot, and when I hit that shot, I shined, and it felt good for me to shine because there was another aspect of me that I've been doing at home.
Yeah.
So that's how I was able to have the opportunity. So then the last year, but not this just last year, past last year, when they asked me to do the Star Trek cruise, that's when I was like, okay, you know. As much doubt as I've always had about myself, that right there just was like, wow, cool. Oh my God. And I had a blast. And then of course, you know, with the other things, but anyway, I probably went off.
No,
you know, whatever.
it's so great. I mean, honestly, if you hadn't shown up and
Oh,
shined.
no, I'm sorry, Kevin. I know what I was getting at. Was still on the 80s when we did the cruise, you know, the boys of Trial by Fire, they're like, dude, you got to come and play drums.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. Was I was still able to get him drums. And it was so funny. A lot of people were like, wow. DJ. And I go, oh, no, yeah, well, I've been the drummer for this band called Berlin for the past 20 years. I'm like, what? Oh, wow, that's so yeah, for sure, drumming. And then 80s the Sands last year was really great because I had to be a part of the house band, which is awesome. And then I also got to play drums with what's
Greg
his name?
Kinn.
Oh my God, why am I?
Greg Kinn.
Yes, Greg Kinn. Yes, Greg Kinn. Boom.
Right.
So that was amazing. Yeah. And I literally had to learn those songs really quick and took the day before and I went up to the hotel room and I was making all my charts and all my notes and stuff and hit up that stage and played it with Jeff from Starship.
Oh yeah,
he's a bass player, man. That's the last time.
He's wicked.
He's amazing.
Yeah, man.
He's great. So yeah, it was really super cool. So thank you, Steve Robinson, for giving me that opportunity again, and for that, and it was a blast. So yeah, hopefully, you know, we'll see. But you know me, dude. Once I'm there and I see guys playing, I'm always gonna be like,
yeah.
I get it. Is it okay?
I'm with you. I'm with you, man. It's hard to sit back and watch and not play if there's an opportunity for sure. Like
right.
You and I will rush the stage together, right? We'll just knock guys out of the way.
Oh yeah, dude. You and I will always bring you. Just like when we were on a cruise and I had to bring Josh up to do an acoustic thing. Man. It was so fun. But there was a joke out of that because when the guy Kevin Hamill was up there playing, I wanted to get Josh up there because I'm like, dude, Josh is amazing. You play guitar and sing, you know, kind of cool. And so I'm running around going, anybody seen Josh? Is anybody doing where Josh is at? You know. And so Amanda and Susan Schultz is really made a joke out of it. They thought that I was like, you know, having to use the bathroom. So it was like, anytime I had to use the bathroom, like, oh, you gotta go find Josh.
Oh,
and I'm like, nah. So
nice.
that became my running joke. So Josh, if you're out there, yeah. Anytime it's like, oh, you're gonna go find Josh? Yeah, I'm gonna go find Josh right now. But anyway, yeah. So that was a great opportunity. I was able to get him up there, and he started his stuff. And boy, he's amazing too.
Yeah,
so,
he is.
But like I said, that's one of those things where we want to bring our brothers in and show them off as much as we can, because we are a big brother. We are a big brotherhood, and I think we all root for each other, and all are there for each other, no matter what. So thank you for being such an amazing friend, man.
Dude, I mean it, man. You've been just like with me from the beginning. You've always been a champion in my court, and I really appreciate it. I think your pal Jimmy Dean that you turned me on to is the same guy, man. I cannot believe what a soul he is.
Yeah, he's an amazing person. Genuine, fully just amazing person. Yeah.
Maybe I can con him in to come on the show, because he's talking about making connections it's something that he's just the king at, and he's just a great human too. So man, I want to thank you and your family. I know Amanda, you guys had to corral the kids to keep them out of the kitchen, but
oh no, dude, Jacob's upstairs in his underwear playing Fortnite. That's what he does. I just bought her a new 32-inch smart TV for her room and set up this whole little thing. So she was like, oh my God, Dad, this is like the best thing ever. My room is even though it's a small room, it's exactly what I've always wanted. So they're stoked, for them with the whole pandemic thing and school stopping, it's been summertime for them, an extended summertime for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're super cool for staying up there. And I think Amanda's over in the living room next to me over there. So she's been listening to us.
She's hoping you'll come back and make dinner now. But man, it's nice to see your face. It's been a while, and I've missed you. So hopefully we see each other before, but if not, I'll get to see you on the beach.
Did I hear maybe you're going to be at the Sands?
I'll be at the Sands. I'm turning 50.
Yeah.
I'll be turning, yeah, my 50th birthday is.
You're turning how old again?
50. Yeah, I'm an old man.
You don't look 50.
Yeah,
I would have 65.
Right. Well, that's just the way I look. I know.
You look.
It's all the gray hairs. No.
Hey man, I'm 47, so I'm right behind you. So all good, man. But you look great, dude. All good. So I'll be looking forward to it. We're gonna have to plan something.
Yeah, man. Let's we'll just push Charlie Laquetta at the aside. We'll do some Tesla tunes.
You're gonna have to be watching your back all that week. It's not gonna be once, dude. It's gonna be more.
That's
50
right.
times. Yeah, 50 times. Be ready. I'm gonna start planning with everybody now.
Hey man, if somebody wanted to book you for sessions for like DJ gigs, how did they get hold of you?
Just email christopherolivas@yahoo.com. They can get a hold of me through there. Facebook Messenger, of course, Instagram. But also, man, you need some drumming stuff. I got the Roland V drum kit, so I'm ready to go. In fact, I just did a video with Strangelove.
Oh, Strangelove, yeah.
Yeah, and that's my other thing I'm doing. Also, so look out for Strangelove. I'm going to be playing. I'm basically the fifth member of Strangelove. And how that was, Strangelove. Are you in a hurry? Because I can keep going here.
No, I know it's great. I do have a meeting to get to, but that's all. But we should talk about Strangelove. It's your Depeche Mode tribute.
Yes. So check them out. There is a video on Facebook. Look that up. Useless. Check that out. But yes, you want to get a hold of me? Drumming lessons, any drum sessions and musical sessions, any video editing. DJing for sure, weddings, private parties, whatever, man. I'm down to do it. You can get a hold of me at christopherolivas@yahoo.com. You can message me through Facebook Messenger. Definitely, I'm thinking I might have to pull a live DJ shush out tomorrow, Wednesday night, and then one for Friday, and probably one Saturday. I'm getting a little bit antsy. It's been 2 weeks since I haven't done anything, and I'm just wanting to play music and have some fun. So, look out for me on Facebook. I'll make announcements and stuff like that, and hopefully people can join me.
I'll make sure we throw your email link in the archive of this. If you go to my YouTube channel at All Access Live with Kevin Rankin, you can get this video, and I'll make sure that you got access to his account so that you can get or his link so you can book sessions, lessons, and DJ party. Get married and then have Chris DJ your wedding, and then I'll come down. I'll officiate the wedding, and it could make a big review.
Are you ordained? If you are, I would love to. We'll set up the whole thing. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Amanda says she wants you to do our vow renewal.
Oh, I'd be happy. I do a lot of them. Absolutely. Reverend Kevy Metal right here. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, make sure you hit like on his YouTube channel, everybody. Go and hit like, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. Let's get Kevy way up there as he should be.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I love seeing you, man.
Dude, amazing to this. I love what you're doing, man. It's so amazing.
Thank you.
I'm Yeah, man.
It's fun. I'm
All right.
digging it. Give
All right.
Amanda the squeeze for me, and really.
Amanda, come here really quick. Say bye. No, come on, come on, come on, hurry up. He's gotta go.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
That's hello, hon. Okay,
Virtual hug.
I'm giving you a virtual hug. You got your ghost shirt. I got my mixing person shirt on. Awesome.
Yes.
I remember the ghost connection. Yeah, man, I miss you guys. We didn't even get into the whole Corey Feldman conversation, so that'll be a follow up sometime.
Hey man, well, like I said, if we got to do a part 2, I'm totally down. So we can always have fun and more conversation if you'd like. So
let me know.
know.
Maybe we'll bring Jimmy Dean on the mat.
Oh my God, we should. Yeah,
okay, I'll get a hold of you after.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, man. Hey, thank you so much, buddy. It's good to see you.
You got it. Thank you.
All right. Hey, I'm talking to Mike D tomorrow. You'll appreciate that conversation a little bit later. Mike D from Dramarama and Halford. So
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna tune in.
All right, man. All right, you guys. Take care, everyone. Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
I love
thank
you,
you,
Chris.
everybody. I love you too, man.